Hello. Is it working? Can you hear me? All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me about how to become an indie hacker. So, a little introduction about myself. My name is Tiago. I am a software developer by training, and then I worked in the Trivago, this company, Hotel Trivago. Maybe you heard of it. And then I left the company. I went to work for a startup called Weekend that then ended up being acquired by Trivago. So I was back there, and I thought, OK, I really need to get out of Trivago. I need to find a way. So I decided to leave the corporate world and take the leap to become a full-time indie hacker. So what is an indie hacker? Indie hacker comes from the word indie, which is independent, and hacker is kind of hacking something together, hacking a product together. And for you to understand what is an indie hacker, I kind of put it together with these two other types of entrepreneurs. One is a facilitator. I called it a facilitator. I created this name. I don't know if it's the correct one. But a facilitator is basically someone that is a visionary, someone that has a lot of soft skills, not a particular hard skill, but it's someone that is able to basically collect a team together and make something happen. Then in the other spectrum, you have a venture capital. This is the typical Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerbergs, the people that we know and that we grew up admiring. And these kind of entrepreneurs are the ones that normally create their companies with funding. They are specialized in one skill, and they are able to scale up a company. Normally, they need a big team. And then in the middle, we have what we call the indie hacker. Indie hacker is a bootstrapper, so basically there's no funding. It's all based on our savings, and it requires multiple skills, so you need marketing, you need software development, you need sales, you need a lot of skills, so you need to become really good in all these kind of skills. Normally they are solopreneurs, so they have no team, or maybe there's two, but teams of 5, then that normally doesn't exist. And it's kind of a lifestyle. It's really, you don't want to become billionaire, you don't want to become a unicorn, you just want to create a business that is able to sustain your lifestyle. It's a lifestyle business. So, it's been a year since I left my job, and I've been really into this community, the indie hacking community. And I have a podcast. I interviewed many indie hackers all around the world, and I've learned a lot with them. And I want to share a little bit what I've learned with you today. So, reasons not to become an indie hacker. When I pitched this talk, the organization told me, Tiago, don't sell snake oil. So, you won't get rich, really. If you want to get money, if you're a developer, it's much better to just continue as a developer. They pay much more. Few hours of work, no. You will end up working more. OK, it's your own thing, so it's passion, but it's not to work less. And not for the fame, for sure. So why becoming indie hacker? If it's not for the money, it's not for the fame. To be your own boss. I love this picture. It's amazing. To be your own boss, yes. A lot of us want the freedom to kind of own our own mistakes and wins. The flexible working hours. You end up working more, but at least you can decide when to work. You can work on weekends. You can work on Mondays. You decide. That's quite amazing. And the third option is the option that I like the most, which is there is no other option. And maybe a lot of you already felt this. You are working in companies, and you always want to create your own features, your own products, but there's always someone, normally the boss, limiting you. Like, you just want to be an entrepreneur. You're always starting your own businesses or ideas, side projects. So, yeah, I think this is really what it's all about. There's no plan B. You just need to become an indie hacker. So, there's two times. So, let's say you decided. Hopefully, I'll create here a framework that will help you, guide you, and already start thinking about leaving your job and being an indie hacker. So there's two ways. You can be a full-time indie hacker, which means You live from your savings. Of course, you have more time, but you also have more pressure. Or you can become a part-time indie hacker, and that means you need to be really good at time management, and you have less financial pressure, but of course, it's more slow pace. So first thing that you need to realize is that being an indie hacker is like it's a job. It's not only it's like being a developer or being a designer. You need a set of skills for being an indie hacker. And this is a framework that after interviewing all these people, I realized that a lot of them followed this kind of framework. And I think a lot of people, at least when I started, I didn't know this. So it's the audience-first approach. Normally, people start with an idea, with a problem, but I think you should start with the audience and try to do this exercise yourself. What are your hobbies? Think about something that you like. And then you start describing your audience. How are the people like you? Like, try to write it down. Then where do they hang out? So for me, I love indie hackers, I love entrepreneurs. And a lot of entrepreneurs hang out on Twitter, hang out on Reddit, hang out in these kind of conferences. And how do they communicate? You start to really get into the audience. Then you identify a problem. So you identify a problem to solve. Since you are part of this audience, it's your own problem. It's always easier for you to solve your own problem. And you try to describe it. So for me, as an example, I don't have an office, right? I work from my home. So sometimes I want to find coffees where I can work from. And that's a problem, because there's no easy way for me to find them. So you also try to validate the problem. You go to your audience, you go to other indie hackers in my case, and I ask, do you have the same problem? Is it something? How are you solving it at the moment? And you can see, okay, this is maybe a problem. Everyone has a similar problem. So you try to find a solution. You describe the solution. I love this picture. It's amazing. Describe the solution. You try to put it in one sentence, very simple for you to describe to others. Then you do your market research, which means you start pitching your solution to your friends in your audience, and you say, like, hey, what do you think of this? Would you use it? Makes sense? And you try to see if you are able to achieve your monetary goals. And bear in mind that up until now, I didn't write a single line of code. I didn't do anything. This is only research. And this will save you a lot of time. So how am I going to make money with this solution? How many users do I need to make money with this solution? And does it make sense? If I need maybe 1 million users, maybe it doesn't make sense for me to start with this solution, right? Because we are bootstrappers. We're living from our savings. So after you decide, okay, this is a solution, people seem to be interested on this, let's start building an MVP, which is not the most valuable player, by the way. It's minimal viable product. And these are the minimum set of features that you need to create a solution. It's not the perfect solution yet. What you wanted to do is create something fast, something that you can deliver to your audience really quickly and to validate it. So in my case, let's go back to finding coffee places where I can work from. One could think, yeah, Tiago, you can build a huge app with all these amazing features and dark mode and everything. But really, what you need is maybe just a no-code solution. You can just use Notion, for example, and create a list of all the coffees in Lisbon where people can work from. This is already partially solving the problem. It might take, I don't know, a couple of days of research and putting everything together, and you have an MVP, something that you can test. And then you define the target, how you want people to interact with your product. And then the last step, start finding customers. From day one, you need to find people that are willing to pay for your solution. We always think, no, I need this feature and that feature. We all think that we'll solve the problem with features, but no. Because if you have the right audience, if you have the right problem, the right solution, people should be already willing to pay for it. So you have the audience. For me, indie hackers, Twitter, people that I've met, I go there and say, hey, here's my Notion with all the coffee places in Lisbon. Check it out. What is your feedback? Do you like it? Are you willing to pay $5 for it? Are you willing to pay $10 for it? If they say no, that's weird, because I'm solving a problem. Why are they not willing to pay? So sometimes it's worth it to just go back. If you see people are not willing to pay for this, let's go back to find another solution for the problem of the coffees. Or let's go back and find another problem. That's the beauty of this framework. You can always go back. And as I'm telling this, I hope that you can kind of start thinking in your own audience, in your own hobbies. How can you use this for yourself? And I'll